The rain poured relentlessly that night, turning the city streets into rivers of shimmering reflections. A woman in a soaked white suit sat against a brick wall, clutching her ankle, trembling with fear. Her mascara streaked down her face, mixing with tears as she whispered, "Please, don't hurt me. I can't walk." Her name was Emily Carter, a once powerful CEO who had built an empire from nothing, but tonight, she was just a scared, broken soul stranded in the storm. Moments earlier, a car had swerved near her, causing her to fall and twist her leg. When footsteps approached, panic seized her heart. She expected another stranger who'd walk past, or worse. But instead, a gentle voice cut through the rain. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not here to hurt you." Emily looked up to see a man kneeling beside her, rain dripping from his hair, eyes full of concern. He held a little girl's pink umbrella, shielding her face from the storm. "My name's Daniel," he said softly. "Let me help you." In that instant, something inside Emily shifted, because for the first time in years, someone wasn't asking her for money, power, or favor. He was just offering kindness. Daniel gently lifted Emily, careful not to hurt her injured ankle. His daughter, Lily, about 6 years old, held her tiny umbrella over Emily's head, her eyes filled with childlike worry. "Daddy, is she gonna be okay?" she asked. "She will be," Daniel replied, his tone steady yet kind. They helped Emily to his nearby pickup truck, where the heater hummed warmth into the cold night. She sat there, shivering, not from the rain anymore, but from something deeper. She had spent years surrounded by luxury, boardrooms, and fake smiles. Yet in this small, old truck, with a stranger and his little girl offering her a blanket, she felt something she hadn't felt in forever, genuine care. "Why are you helping me?" she asked quietly, staring at him through teary eyes. Daniel smiled faintly. "Because people helped me when I lost everything," he said. "Kindness kept me alive." Emily swallowed hard. She wanted to tell him who she was, the CEO of one of the biggest corporations in the city, but for once, she didn't want to be that person. She just wanted to be Emily. And as Lily leaned over to hand her a chocolate bar, whispering, "This makes everything better," Emily let out a soft laugh. That tiny moment of sweetness cracked open the walls she had built for years. When they reached Daniel's small, cozy house on the outskirts of the city, Emily was struck by how warm it felt, not just from the fireplace flickering in the corner, but from the laughter and simplicity that filled every corner. Lily ran ahead, proudly showing Emily her drawings taped to the fridge, messy rainbows, stick figures, and a crooked house labeled "Home." Daniel brought a towel and gently wrapped it around Emily's shoulders before tending to her ankle with surprising care. "You're good at this," she murmured, half smiling. "Used to take care of my wife before she got sick," he replied softly. Emily's expression fell. "I'm sorry," she whispered. He only nodded. "Life goes on. We just keep loving who we can." The sincerity in his eyes disarmed her completely. As she sipped the warm tea he made, her gaze wandered, the second-hand furniture, the slightly chipped mugs, the photos of a family that clearly loved deeply despite their losses. She realized how different this world was from her high-rise apartment, the kind where silence echoed louder than peace. Lily climbed into her lap, giggling as she offered a small stuffed bear. "You can borrow Mr. Snuggles tonight. He helps when you're sad." Emily smiled through misty eyes. In that tiny home, surrounded by kindness she didn't earn, she felt something powerful, the healing that comes from being seen, not judged. The next morning, sunlight poured through the small kitchen window, dancing on the wooden floor. The smell of pancakes filled the air as Daniel hummed softly, flipping breakfast while Lily drew at the table. Emily sat quietly, her injured leg propped on a chair, watching this simple scene unfold, a scene she didn't know her heart had longed for. But soon, her phone buzzed violently on the counter, flashing her name on dozens of missed calls. Emily Carter, CEO of Carter Enterprises, missing since last night. The news headline glared back at her from the phone screen. Daniel froze, recognizing the name. "You're that Emily Carter?" he asked, his voice gentle but surprised. Emily's chest tightened. Shame flooded her as she nodded. "I didn't mean to lie. I just needed to feel normal." He smiled faintly. "You didn't lie, you just needed a break from being someone the world expects you to be." Tears welled in her eyes. All her life, she'd measured worth in success, in deals, in numbers, but this man, with worn hands and a pure heart, was showing her a kind of wealth she'd never known. "You know," Daniel said as he poured coffee into her cup, "sometimes the richest people are just the ones who know how to care." Emily looked at him, speechless. In that moment, surrounded by warmth and truth, she realized she'd been starving for something money could never buy: human connection. As the days passed, Emily's ankle began to heal, but her heart, that was what changed the most. Each morning, Daniel insisted she rest while he made breakfast, and each evening, Lily would climb beside her, showing new drawings. One even had 3 smiling stick figures holding hands under a heart. "That's you, Daddy, and me." Lily giggled. "You're part of our family now." Those words hit Emily harder than she expected. Family, a word she hadn't truly felt in years. When her driver finally arrived to take her home, Daniel simply said, "Take care of yourself, Emily. And don't forget to slow down once in a while." But she didn't leave right away. Instead, she reached into her bag, pulled out an envelope, and placed it on the table. "It's not payment," she said quickly when Daniel tried to refuse. "It's gratitude. For saving me, not from the storm, but from myself." Later that week, Daniel received a letter in the mail from the Carter Foundation for Kindness, a new charitable initiative Emily had created in his and Lily's honor. It included a scholarship for single parents and a small note that read, "For those who give without asking, you remind the world that compassion is priceless." Daniel sat there in silence, tears filling his eyes. For the first time since his wife passed, he felt hope blooming again, proof that one act of kindness could truly ripple far beyond what the eye can see. Months later, on a bright spring morning, Daniel stood outside a newly opened community center with a sign that read, "The Lily Hope House, for families starting over." Children played in the garden while single parents attended workshops inside. It had all been funded by the Carter Foundation, Emily's promise fulfilled. She arrived soon after, walking without her limp, dressed simply, her smile warm and genuine. When Lily spotted her, she ran across the yard shouting, "Miss Emily," and hugged her tightly. Daniel watched, his heart swelling with quiet pride. "You did all this," he said softly. Emily shook her head. "We did," she replied. "You showed me that kindness doesn't need wealth, but wealth needs kindness to have meaning." The two stood side by side, watching families laugh, the sunlight wrapping them in gold. What began as a rainy night of fear had turned into a bond of hope, proof that compassion could turn pain into purpose. Emily had once measured her success in profits, now she measured it in lives touched, smiles restored, and hearts healed. As Lily handed Emily a new drawing, 3 figures under a rainbow, Emily whispered, "You saved me that night, Daniel." He smiled gently. "No," he said, "you saved yourself. I just reminded you what love looks like." And for the first time in years, Emily believed it, that even the deepest wounds can heal when kindness lights the way. Cloud with Rain Red Heart.